Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Subaru 2.5 RS. In the last video, we made huge progress on this car. We got the entire wide body painted, we got the chassis painted, and we still have a lot of body work to go. The Bodywork's, it's taken its toll on me, if we're being honest, but that's not gonna stop us. We still have a lot more to do. We have 2 doors, both bumpers, a whole bunch of little stuff to get ready to get painted for this thing. Ideally, I would like to get everything else painted in this video. That seems like a real stretch goal, and I don't think I'm gonna get to that, but we're gonna get as far as we can. I'm really trying to get past this bodywork stuff because I wanna jump over to the mechanical, the engine, the turbo kit, the wiring, a lot more, in my opinion, the fun stuff versus sanding. Because I've been sanding for 3 to 4 weeks now, and while my arms are getting buffer, my spirit is dwindling on sanding. So I guess let's jump into it and do more sanding.
I've got both of the bumpers scuffed up. I don't want to do body work on these until there's at least a layer of epoxy primer. You don't have to do it this way, but the epoxy primer is just going to create a watertight barrier for any body filler that we put on these parts. So it's good practice from what I've read. Like I said, I'm no professional bodywork guy. It's good practice to just get a base layer of epoxy primer on this stuff. So we've scuffed everything up, we've cleaned it, and we're gonna do 3 coats of epoxy primer, let all that cure up, and then we can actually start doing body work on these parts to get them on permanently. My main focus is to get these bigger panels done with and on the car, so that way they're not sitting in the shop, and we can just take them off the car as need be. So we still have these. I don't wanna do those right now, to be honest. I just don't care to do them. These are awkward to spray, man. It's like weird spots.
We've let all of these sit overnight. Bumpers came out honestly looking pretty good. Minimal body work, I'm assuming, is going to need to be done to these. So this still needs to cure all this epoxy primer for about another day or two before we can really start sanding all this. So we probably won't get to this stuff until the next video, but at least they're primed and ready to go. Honestly, this stressed me out quite a bit because of all these weird recessions and whatnot in the bumper, but glad that they both came out looking pretty crisp. All of the smaller parts also came out looking solid. So I actually want to toss these on the car for right now, just so that way they can cure up on the car. They're out of our way. And then I think we're going to jump over to the doors next, maybe. If we can get these in primer also, that's going to be huge because that's 2 less parts that we have to prime. And I think that's actually going to be everything for the most part that we have right now that needs to be primed. So let's toss these on real quick. We'll set this stuff aside. And then I think we might jump to getting these doors loaded up, or maybe we'll toss some more stuff on the car. I don't know quite yet. Rear bumper. All these parts just take up a lot of space. That's the whole reason why I just want to get them done and on the car for right now. Is just because they take up so much freaking room. I will say it is nice to see the fiberglass parts. Like, we don't have any parts left in fiberglass right now except for that fuel level door thing, or the fuel door thing. So there are some trim pieces that need to go under the taillights that we need to prime still. But getting the majority of the big pieces at least primed and put back on the car is nice because it frees up a lot of space in the shop. This is not a big shop by any means, so having the room back is huge. Front bumper and rear bumper can just chill on the car for a couple days up until this primer is cured. Once the primer is cured, then at that point we can go ahead and start sanding all this down smooth, getting these in paint. There is a little bit of fiberglass repair I need to do on this on the back side of the bumper here. And then we'll use a little bit of filler to smooth that out. I need to adjust that bumper and that headlight to get those to sit a little bit better. This side sits pretty freaking perfect. This side needs a little bit of adjustment, which isn't the end of the world. So with the bumpers and primer, what do I want to do, man? I really don't want to sand, but like that's the majority of what I have to do right now is sand and weld. And I just don't want to do it. I'm gonna be honest, you guys, I'm getting pretty burnt out on this bodywork stuff. I think after this video, we're gonna take a break from bodywork for a little while. Our carpet shows up on Friday for this, so we can actually focus on getting the interior put back together with, I can't even put the dash in because I bought the airbag delete for the airbag in the dash, so I can't even put that in yet. Why am I always waiting on stuff? Oh, all right, well, I guess we are sanding then. Let's get the doors. We'll focus on one door at a time. Okay, we'll do this one door at a time. We'll focus on the is that the driver's door? Driver's door first, because I already have some body filler on it to smooth out everywhere where I welded. And then we'll jump over to the passenger door, which still needs some welding done on it to weld up some of the holes. And then I guess if we can get these in primer today, that would be a win. I guess that would be a win. Sanding the inside of panels objectively, I think, is the absolute worst. You don't necessarily have to strip all of the old paint and primer down to bare metal, but you at least need to scuff everything up. And the way that the internals of like doors and hoods are set up is there's a lot of recessions, little divots and things like that, and just weird angles that you have to sand to be able to at least get some type of mechanical adhesion between the primer and the door. So the inside of these, they take way longer in my opinion than I think they should, or at least I would like to admit. Maybe I'm just going a little bit overkill on this stuff, but I've spent maybe 2.5 hours on the inside of each of these doors just to even prepare them for the primer, dude. This is by far the worst part of the bodywork. Boy, what the hell? No, no, no. Do the brackets.
Boy, what the hell?
Do the brackets. I got real tired of sanding the doors yesterday, you guys. We're gonna prime them today so that way they can sit. I wanted to try to get the bumpers in color in this video, but that's not gonna happen. It's just too cold. The epoxy primer is taking significantly longer to cure than what it would on if it was like a consistent 70 degrees in there. So we're gonna get the doors and a couple other smaller bits and primers so that way we can at least just let this stuff cure up. And then in a couple days, we're gonna have to do a little bit of fiberglass repair on the front bumper. And then we can sand everything smooth and paint it hopefully in the next video. Like I said, I'm getting pretty burnt out on Bodywork, but we're taking a break from the RS because we've got some of your guys' favorite WRX ever produced. Do some people love this car, okay? This one's adjustable.
You got multiple sizes?
Yeah. You got pocket magnets, big long stick magnets.
Well, look at you.
Look at that, Matt's fancy. Is this 2025 or 2024?
It's a 24.
Matt's got a fancy 2024 WRX VB TRTS GTSTI.
I'm trying not to film this because the car's a lease. Hey guys, it's fun if you modify your lease, just not on camera.
Would you say you like this car more than your Legacy?
Shh. Don't, it might be listening.
The Legacy?
More than the Legacy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What about the Outback?
No.
See, look, your clutch thingy is right there. It's right there.
Did you explain what we're doing?
No, I didn't. It's you. Tell us, sir.
So I've owned this car for a whopping 400 miles as of today. And from the moment I got it, I was like, this car kind of feels weird to drive with the clutch. And I looked up and I saw there was a clutch delay valve. I was like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, so we're deleting it. Because apparently everybody's done delete.
Do you have the new part?
A little Perrin
Clutch delay valve delete. We had an extra one sitting around, and that replaces the plug on the end of the. I always feel bad calling it a slave cylinder.
Yeah. So essentially, when you release or you engage the clutch, there's like a diaphragm with a spring that expands out, so it delays the clutch fully engaging or disengaging. So by replacing that with a solid piece, you're getting rid of that little wiggle room in there, and it's going to feel like a normal clutch that you're all used to. I need a fatty, like,
do you want
a 19?
That looks
It's like
bigger
a 21, dude.
Do you want to, hang on, let me see what I got. We got options. Matt, be the first VB to do an EJ style rotated kit.
No.
Come on.
There's supposed to be a
what?
A spring on this. Should we pull up the instructions?
It's your car, man. You decide.
We probably should.
I don't even know where you put the new one.
Maybe get this home at some point.
Since Matt's covered in brake fluid, I will pull up the instructions. So everything we pulled out was the bolt, the retainer clip for the bolt, the little plastic blue piece, and then the spring. And the Perrin valve replaces all of that.
I don't know how tight this is supposed to be, but...
Do you want me to look at like a torque spec? And you can just kind of ugga-dugga it with the wrench?
We'll just snap it, dude. Make my brand new car immobile.
These Recaros are nice! Let me know when you're ready for the pumpage. This doesn't have heated seats? Oh, I forgot. It's in the touch screen. Sorry, okay, I'm a peasant.
This is what it's like to own a black car.
You just keep every...
Yeah, I looked at it wrong. I gotta buff it now.
How do you always drive your cars with like no gas? Well... How do you live life this way?
Look at the mileage.
401 miles, yeah.
Okay, I filled up once. So I'm doing a test, seeing if I behave a little more, if I can get more than, let's see, 14 miles to gallon.
That's not, hey, that's better than Tacoma.
12.6, that's worse. Like, oh, that feels, yeah. Okay, that came in a lot quicker on second shift. So, yeah, it's like you don't get the, okay.
So that, like, it actually made a difference.
Yeah. I don't feel the stupid, like, yeah, it catches earlier. So it's not, normally it'd catch like way up towards the top. And it almost felt like you were a noob and you were like slipping it.
We've helped our boy Matthias out. We are going to jump back on Bodywork. So since I have to spray the inside and the outside of both of the doors, what we're gonna do first, because the inside of this one is ready, we're gonna spray the inside of this door. We're gonna spray the outside of this door, let these cure. I also got the taillight garnish pieces sanded, so we can also get these primed for the tail lights, because those are kind of what fill out the little space underneath of the rear bumper. We'll get all of this done, let it cure, because I guess if we're doing it this way, I'm waiting on more clear coat to show up, so I guess if we're doing it this way, what we can do is the front and the rear bumper at the same time, the doors at the same time, probably the inside of the doors. We'll do the inside of the hood. We'll resand the outside of the hood, get that ready, and then we'll do the outside of the doors and the top of the hood all at the same time. And I think that should honestly be it for most of the bodywork stuff until we get a trunk and a wing in. So, you know, not exactly the game plan that I had in mind for this, but we need to get these parts in primer anyways, and we need to bodywork the doors. So I guess let me get the shop set up for a little bit of primer work. We'll get these doors done and those little pieces done.
Clean, clean, clean. I would really like to get more sprayed, but you know, we'll take the little wins we can get. Well, that's already in epoxy primer. We just got to sand all that smooth again. Everything else, I guess, is already in primer, so I guess we're just going for it. This is all going to get sanded. This is just a protection coat, so I don't really care if this looks good or not, because it's all going to get sanded down before we do body work. I messed up by putting that on prior, but it'll be fine.
Door one, door two. So we have the inside of one door done, the outside of one door with its first coat of primer. Now, the way it looks like all of this bodywork stuff is really going to happen is it looks like we're just gonna end up painting all of the remaining parts all at once, which isn't a bad thing because that'll give a little bit better color consistency throughout the rest of the panels. But I think, like I said, I think when we go to do the inside of the doors and we paint those World Rally Blue, because we're gonna paint the inside of the doors first. We'll paint the insides of the doors and the hood at the same time, let all that cure for a couple days, flip everything over, paint the outside of the doors, the outside of the hood again, because we are gonna redo that. These taillight garnish things, the fog light covers, the fog light cover inserts, the actual fuel door, because I do need to panel bond this piece to the factory one. We'll paint that at the same time. So it looks like all of the painting should wrap up pretty much all at the same time, with the exception of the trunk and the wing, which we'll worry about that later once we actually get those ordered. But sweet, we're gonna go wait some more for all this stuff to cure. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. That's really the crappy thing with doing a lot of this body work is I spray it with honestly, the epoxy primer is what takes the longest to cure, but I have to spray this stuff and there's nothing I can do. I just wait. I gotta wait for it all to be done. We are well into the next day and I can happily say the primer laid out nicely, but just like everything else, it's going to need some time to cure before we can really do any more body work. That's kind of the unfortunate thing with where we're at right now is there's not a ton of, there's a good amount of body work left, but it's not a ton. So all the panels that we are doing, we're just kind of waiting on at this point. Inside of this door came out awesome. All the primer laid out nice and smooth. This will let cure. It's just gonna get scuffed, painted, and clear coated on the inside of the door. Like I said, we're gonna paint the inside of the doors at the same time and the inside of the hood, and then we'll repaint the exterior of the hood when we go to do the outside of the doors, as well as all of our little trim pieces back here. Taillight garnishes came out looking awesome. both of them laid out perfectly, no runs, no drips, nothing like that. So we have some smooth epoxy primer to sand up to 600 on all of this stuff, and then we can paint that. The door, it's kind of nice to do the doors and primer before doing a lot of the body work. A, the primer is going to give a protective layer for any body filler that we do use, but B, it lets you see the high spots and low spots a lot more. Like everywhere where you see these little patches is where I had to weld on the door to get it to actually like fill the holes, you know what I mean? And these patches that you see, that's just some of the fiberglass reinforced filler. They're all low spots. So I want to let this cure, scuff this up, and we're ideally just going to do a skim coat from this body line all the way to the bottom of the door, block sand it all smooth to get this looking perfect, apply another coat of epoxy primer on top of that, and that's going to create a watertight seal for the body filler that we have on here. The bumpers, I painted these I primered these like 3 days ago, and yesterday before I left, I came over to this little corner and I tested it, and you can see it left some indents from my finger in there, so I just want to let this cure. Like, we can't even try to sand that right now because all that's going to happen is it's just going to gum up the sandpaper and we're not going to make any progress. It's going to rip up the epoxy primer and then we're going to have to reprime all of these parts. To be completely transparent and honest, I did not make as much progress as I wanted to on the bodywork aspect of things in this video, but like I said, we're really just at the presence of waiting for things to cure, because like I said, jumping on the stuff too fast, it's just gonna ruin it and set us back. So we're just gonna play the waiting game. I'm not gonna touch this stuff till probably early next week. So tomorrow the interior carpet shows up. We can get the carpet in, focus on the interior a little bit more, knock out some more wiring that has to happen inside the car, allocate the proper wires for the electronic throttle pedal now, the fuel, pumps, whole bunch of stuff. That'll be nice too, because it will give me a little bit of a break from bodywork after bodywork after bodywork after bodywork, because your boy's getting real burnt out on bodywork real quick, and it's making me lose motivation. Hence why there hasn't been a video since last Friday, because I've been bodywork. But we should be starting on the engine stuff here soon. I've been trying to do a little bit of digging into figuring out what exhaust manifold that we're gonna be using on this car, because not every exhaust manifold will fit with the dry sump. After talking with the guys at Flatirons and a couple other exhaust manifold manufacturers, it looks like we are going to be using an unequal length manifold on this car, so it will still have that Subaru rumble that a lot of you guys love. It really isn't my first choice to go with unequal length, but in the situation of using the dry sump, unless we did a custom manifold, which I really don't want to do if we don't have to, Roger Clark Motorsport makes a really awesome unequal length manifold that we're gonna be using. So with that, that's all I got for you guys on this one. So if you like the video, if you're hyped with the progress, I know it's not a ton, but we are making solid progress. Hit the like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan, whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be, put it in one of these corners. No idea which one quite yet, but with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.